This is season 3 of The Sweater with Kathleen Dames. I'm your host, Kathleen Dames, and over the course of our 12-week season, we will knit basic cable together. An awesome worsted weight cabled pullover. Hello, my friends, and welcome to episode 0 of season 3 of The Sweater with Kathleen Dames. I hope you had a great summer. I did. I was very busy. One of the things I was busy with was knitting basic cable. So this is the sweater we're going to be knitting this season. Actually, you will be knitting this sweater and I will be knitting a new design called premium cable. It will have some of the same elements as basic cable, a slightly more complicated cable pattern itself, and I'll be incorporating some of the things that I'm going to tell you can do to customize your basic cable. So I will have chosen a number of design elements to make something a little different from basic cable. But basic cable is a great place to start if you haven't done any cables before, if you're nervous about that, and if you're looking for a sort of classic, simple, cabled sweater. So Jane is wearing basic cable. It is knit out of Malabrigo Rios, which is a superwash worsted weight wool, and it was a lovely yarn to work with. My premium cable, I will be working with Spirit Trail Fiber Works Zalti, which is coming, starting this coming weekend at Rhinebeck. It will be released, and so I will be knitting premium cable with that. But the great thing about basic cable is it is basic, but not really. It's got these lovely cables. We've got some garter stitch edges to keep things from rolling, keep everything nice and smooth. I opted for a simple plain stockinette sleeve and to contrast with the sort of widely spaced cables here. There's also room at the sides with stockinette panels for shaping if that's something you desire, and I'll be getting into that in more detail in future episodes. As in past seasons, we will go over everything over 12 episodes. We'll begin with looking at the pattern all the way to blocking and wearing our finished garment, with lots of room for you to ask questions along the way. A reminder, if you haven't subscribed to the newsletter yet, please do. You can find a link, a form to fill out for that at kathleendames.com/thesweater. And if you've already signed up, you should have received an email from me with a link to download your copy of the free pattern. Now, some people are not joiners. They don't want to sign up for newsletters. I totally get that. I understand that. And that is why basic cable will be for sale on Ravelry right away. So if you want to add it to your Ravelry library right away, if you don't want to sign up for the newsletter, just go there. There's a link in the show notes. There's a link in the email that gives you that option. And the great thing, of course, about buying a pattern on Ravelry is that it is stored in your Ravelry library and you can access it from anywhere. In addition to the newsletter, you probably want to check out the forums on Ravelry. Every episode of each season has its own thread in the forums. So if questions come up, those are the places to go and ask your questions. I try to answer them as quickly as I can, but oftentimes other members of the group can get to your question first, and they might have just knit the same thing, figured it out on their own, or understand it in a different way that you do, and they are happy to help too. So be sure to check out the forums, be sure to sign up for the newsletter, get excited, and start thinking about what kind of yarn you want. Obviously, in episode 1, we will talk about the pattern itself, about choosing our size and things like that. Episode 2 will be, as usual, all about the yarn, and I'll talk more about yarn choices that you can make. But if you're looking for a great yarn to do this in, you can of course use the yarn that I use, Malabrigo Rios, or a similar worsted weight wool yarn. Wool is great for knitting cables. I highly recommend it. Its elasticity makes cables, which are actually twisting stitches past each other and working them out of order, it makes it a little easier. The first sweater I ever knit with cables was, crazily enough, a cotton baby sweater. And nobody had told me that it was hard to knit cables in cotton, so I just did it. And it turned out fine. If you really are set on using cotton, go for it. But just know that wool, with its elasticity, is a slightly better choice. Over the season, we will talk about yarn choices. We're going to talk a lot about cabling without a cable needle, different things that you can do to make this sweater your own. And at the end, you'll have your lovely, very own basic cable. And I will have a premium cable too. As you may have noticed, my setup is a little different. I have carved out a corner of my laundry room, this actual corner with this bookcase, with all sorts of woolly goodies in there. I've carved out this space to be my little studio. So I hope you enjoy my coming to you from this spot rather than the corner of my bedroom. So hopefully this will be a much more conducive space for me, at least, to come to you. Remember, if you ever have any questions, you can always ask. Ravelry forums are probably your best first bet, but if you're watching this on YouTube, the comments section below is another good place to ask a question. And of course, if you're a newsletter subscriber, hit reply and ask me your question in email. I may turn around and share it in the forum or on the blog post for each episode, because I do think that any question that you have, and I've gone over this in previous seasons, any question that you have, you are not alone. And if you are the brave one to ask it first, it's so great and it helps me so much. And then we can help other knitters, which ultimately is what we want to do, right? We're not selfish about it. I may be a selfish knitter and I like to knit sweaters for myself, but I love sharing everything I've learned and everything I know about knitting here with you and spreading that joy. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you're getting excited. Be sure to go and download your copy of the pattern from the newsletter link or purchase your copy on Ravelry. Choice is up to you. And we will get started next week. And over the course of the 12 weeks, we will go from a paper pattern to a finished sweater. So I hope you're having a great day. Thank you so much for being here and happy knitting. Mwah! Bye. This is season 3 of The Sweater with Kathleen Dames. Over the course of our 12-week season, we will knit basic cable together. Many thanks to Jen at Spirit Trail Fiberworks, Corinna at Picnic Knits, Tara Sweiger and my fellow Starship captains, and you for being part of The Sweater with Kathleen Dames. Don't forget to visit KathleenDames.com/thesweater to sign up for the newsletter before January 6, 2017 to receive a link to download your free copy of Basic Cable in your welcome email. Is it after January 6th? Just not a joiner? Purchase your copy of Basic Cable from my Ravelry shop anytime. Be sure to share your progress on social media with the hashtags BasicCable and KDSweater. Questions? Comments? Visit the Kathleen Dames Design Ravelry forum today. Thanks so much for joining me, and happy knitting. Okay, this is a test of our new setup. Hello, hello. I'm Kathleen Dames. This is Lady Jane. We are going to be talking about the sweater. Yay!